All right, today we're cracking open a true classic, Betty Smith's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. We're going to zoom in on just the very first chapter. So get ready to step back in time to the summer of 1912, where we'll spend one single, really important Saturday with our main character, a young girl named Francie Nolan.
So the chapter kicks off with this one single word, serene. And it really paints a picture, doesn't it? A calm, quiet summer afternoon. You can almost feel that lazy sun warming up the fences. It feels peaceful, almost perfect.
But then, almost immediately, the mood just completely shifts. Betty Smith pulls the rug out from under us. See, she says a better word is somber. And that's a much heavier word, right? It hints at this quiet sadness, something serious just hiding under the surface. And that's the real feeling of this neighborhood, and it totally sets the tone for the rest of the story.
So first up, let's talk about the book's most important symbol, the tree of heaven. And trust me, this is way more than just a piece of scenery. It's really the heart of this whole neighborhood and of our story.
Now, this is not some pretty, delicate little tree. No way. This thing is a survivor. It literally grows where nothing else can, pushing its way right out of cement and garbage heaps. And get this, the book says the tree only grows in the poorest neighborhoods. It says it actually liked poor people. It's this incredible symbol of being tough when things are hard. I mean, it's a perfect reflection of the people in this story. And we see right away how this tree affects Francie. Its branches actually wrap around her fire escape, turning this gritty city space into her own private green hideaway. For a kid with a huge imagination like Francie, it's not just a fire escape anymore. It becomes her treehouse, her little sanctuary away from that somber world down on the street. Okay, so that brings us to what Francie's actually doing today. And you can forget about lazy Saturday mornings. For the kids in Williamsburg, Saturday is all about the hustle. It's time for the weekly ritual, collecting and selling junk. I mean, just look at these numbers. This is no game. This is a whole little economy built on, well, garbage. A single penny for 10 pounds of paper. 2 cents for some rags. Copper was the big score at 10 cents a pound. So you've got Francie and her brother, Neeley, spending their entire week with their eyes glued to the gutter, just hoping to find something, anything, that'll add up to a few cents. It just shows you how much work went into earning every single penny. And, this came with a huge emotional price tag, too. As Francie and Neeley are dragging their heavy sack to the junkyard, other kids start yelling at them, kids who've already sold their junk. They're shouting, "Rag picker, rag picker." And that name just makes Francie's face burn with shame. It's such a cruel reminder of how poor they are, and what's wild is that it's coming from other kids who are in the exact same boat. So their destination is this place called Carney's, which is basically a rundown old stable that stinks of wet rags. After weighing all their junk, Carney gives them 16 cents. But there's a catch, a really weird one. Carney likes to pinch little girls' cheeks, and if Francie can stand it without flinching, he gives her an extra penny. She calls it her pinching penny. It's a really unsettling little deal, and it just goes to show what these kids had to put up with for 1 extra cent. All right, so that whole morning of work gets them 16 cents for the family. But what's Francie's personal cut? Just a nickel. But you're about to see how that one little nickel felt like the whole world to her. This is it. 5 cents. So after they put half of their money into the family savings tin and split what's left, this is Francie's. It's all hers. 1 nickel. I mean, to us, that's nothing, right? But in Francie's world, this single coin was like a universe of possibilities. So with this nickel in her pocket, Francie walks into the bright, shiny nickel and dime store. And it's not really about what she's going to buy, it's about the feeling the money gives her, the freedom. She can just walk up and down the aisles and touch whatever she wants. The book actually calls it an orgy of touching things. And if one of the store workers gives her a look, well, she has the power to just buy something. That nickel is her ticket. It makes her feel like she belongs. Okay, now we're going to get into one of the most interesting and, honestly, profound habits of the Nolan family. It's this little daily ritual that seems to make absolutely no sense, especially when you think about how much they struggle for every penny. So here's the puzzle. Every single day, Francie's mom, Katie, makes a big pot of coffee. And every day, Francie gets her own cup. She loves the warmth and the smell of it, but she never actually drinks it. At the end of the meal, she just pours the whole thing right down the sink. So the question is, why? Why would they waste perfectly good coffee when every single crumb and drop is so important? Well, the answer from her mother is just incredible. It's not about being careless at all. It's a choice. It's an act of dignity. For Katie, letting her daughter waste this one little thing gives them both a feeling of being rich, even if just for a moment. It's a connection to a world where you don't have to scrounge for everything. It's like their own small, daily act of rebellion against being poor.
All right, so after lunch, Francie's day takes a really dark and sudden turn. She's sent on an errand to buy stale bread for the family, and she sees something, an encounter that just shakes her to her very core.
The scene is this place called Loescher's. It's where the poor people go to buy day-old bread. You can get 2 loaves for a nickel. The place is full of kids and old men just waiting. And while she's waiting, Francie notices one of the old men asleep on a bench.
She's looking at his broken-down shoes and his really disgusting feet, and her imagination just takes off. She doesn't just see an old man. She sees his entire life, but played backwards. She pictures him as a strong young man that girls used to smile at. Then she sees him as a little boy, one whose mother probably thought he could be president someday. And then she sees him all the way back as a sweet, clean little baby whose mom used to kiss his perfect little pink toes. And then this absolutely devastating thought hits her. The connection between that sweet little baby and this broken old man, it just slams into her. It's the moment she truly understands the brutal path a life can take when you're poor. And the most terrifying part? She realizes that future could be her future.
Just a terrible panic completely takes over. She grabs the bread and she just runs. She runs all the way home, like she's trying to physically escape this horrible new idea. That serene, quiet Saturday afternoon, it's been completely shattered by this one glimpse into the reality of her world. And really, that brings us to the big question of this whole chapter, doesn't it? Francie's Saturday shows us a world that is incredibly hard, but it also shows us these little moments of deep, profound richness. You know, it's the power she feels from a single nickel. It's the dignity that comes from wasting a cup of coffee on purpose. It's the magic of a tree growing outside her window. So, the story kind of leaves us asking, how do you find richness when you're poor? What really makes someone wealthy? And how in the world do you hold on to your dignity when you have almost nothing else?